Hello, welcome back to my series in Factorio in which I am attempting to build my very first mega factory. My name is Azrael. Come along with me as we continue our adventure. First thing we're going to do today, pick up a few red transport belts out of my factory and just kind of looking around for right now. It's a little bit more of a laid back episode. Just going to kind of upgrade all of these belts, make sure that they are doing the fastest job that I can currently get them doing. It might be a bit of a moot point here because we're already manufacturing the express belts and eventually we're going to be upgrading it all to those. But I figure I might as well do or use rather what I have on hand and checking all those turrets to make sure that they have the proper amount of ammunition because I know that the biters have been attacking them a lot lately. So there's always a good chance that they're going to run out soon. Speaking of ammunition, I'm turning one of my ammunition assemblers back into the ammo, the armor-piercing round variety. So now I have one for the rounds and one for the shotgun shells. Kind of the way that I wanted to do it in the first place. Alright, now I'm going to set out my tank and head off to take care of one of these biter nests. I realize I'm just not using the tank as much as I thought I would. Because the traditional turret creep seems to be pretty powerful on its own. But here I'm going to go ahead and implement that. I'm going to circle around the base and take out all of the stragglers. Try to hit all the spawners as I'm going around. Yeah. There they go. Now, in the midst of all that chaos, I realized that all of my construction bots attempted to get out and repair the tank. And then the biters just destroyed them all as they were going, so now I don't have any more construction robots. I have to repair this tank on my own. And that should do it for now, but then I think, I should probably, I'm like right here, I might as well go up and take care of this nest of worms, including the big worms. The best thing that I know to do for that is to just ram them and take them right out. Yeah, that ought to do it. Did some decent damage to the tank though. But I'll go ahead and repair that. Pick it up because I don't like using up all the fuel that it takes to get back and forth there. Okay, it does look like I actually have. Yeah, I went ahead and crafted up a few in my inventory. So now I have 4. The next thing I want to do is prepare to get rid of some of these roundabouts in my rail network. But in order to do that, the unloading stations for my ore have to be moved down a little bit because there's not enough room to do a T-junction from here back up into the main line. So when I put down this schematic and had my 4 construction robots go at it, and that's just moving really slow, so I'm going to go ahead and help them out a little bit, laying down some rail. And then the red belts along the top. I'm going to have to go back into the factory and get a few more electric engines to craft up a few more of the construction robots. But for right now, they are almost done. Just putting down a few extra things. And I am missing some stack inserters and steel chests in my inventory, so I'm going to have to go back into the factory anyway. Take a little shortcut there, riding along those belts. Speaking of belts, picking up a few more of these, the miscellany here. And then there's the stack inserters. And gonna pick up some stone ore to craft up some more rails. And for that I'm gonna need some steel. I'm gonna head back over there now. And let those construction robots finish up the last couple of bits that they missed. And then I realize I don't have any steel chests on me, so I'm going to have to craft up a few of those. There we go. Yeah, a lot of this is just sort of just playing around with it. I really didn't do a whole lot of testing in this. I did not do a test run like I usually do. I just sort of went in and played by ear. I realized that I've been planning these episodes out a little too much and forgetting to actually enjoy the the essence of playing the game. So in this case, for this one, I just hit the record button and did whatever. And I know that there are some chain signals and normal rail signals that I need to put down here in order to make this intersection work. I think that'll do it. I may have gotten some of those signals in the wrong place. Not entirely sure at the moment though. I can't go ahead and deconstruct this existing station because there's still a whole bunch of ore backed up within it, but the least I can do is sever its connection from the rest of the network and then get that up. So now there's two T intersections, one leading in, one leading out. That ought to be pretty good. Just making sure that all of those signals are working correctly. Seems to be working all right for now. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing over here. Get up a second station. Once again, my 4 construction robots take off to feebly do a little bit of work. I forgot to pick up the electric engines when I was up here last time. There they are. And I'm going to go ahead and craft up a bunch more buddies for them to all get this work done a little more quickly. But those flying robot frames just take forever to craft in your own personal inventory. Eventually, I'd like to have an assembler set up for that. But right now, it's not a huge issue because I can only have 10 construction robots working for me at a time because of the limitations of the personal roboport. I think that's how it works anyway. 10 active robots per roboport. So if I wanted to have more construction robots, I'd have to actually have more ports in my armor. And that might be something I'll do later on. But, you know, we're just taking baby steps this whole time. In the meantime, get rid of the previous station, making sure everything is hooked up properly. It does look like it will, it'll work. I'm just kind of waiting around for that iron ore train to come back. There it goes. And it looks like everything's working all right, so I'm going to go ahead and deconstruct this, the first station. Of course, in doing so, I end up killing the power and interrupting some of the ore bus leading up into the furnaces. But it'll all be sorted out here momentarily. And I won't be needing that northbound fuel line because this will be the northernmost station in this setup. Go ahead and get the rest of that down. Does research out of my way. Yeah, I get a little bit more speed there, but they work a little bit more quickly. And reconnect the ore bus and get rid of that other station. Now, in the meantime, I'm looking at this this line of copper coming up from the station to the south. And oh yeah, I want to make that a proper T-junction while we're at it. Yeah, it looks like it's working all right though. Yeah, there we go. That should do it. And then I want to do the same thing over here. Because right now it's still using that roundabout. Get that tree and power pylon out of my way. There we go. Now this one will be slightly reconfigured. A little bit more economical in the amount of space it uses up. And now to put in all the signals. Alright. That should be good for now. I'm not really sure if I need other signals anywhere. Now I can go ahead and get rid of this roundabout. Let the construction bots do a little bit of the work for me. Alright. And get rid of this, whoops, accidentally removed one of the new rails there. Oh well, everyone makes mistakes, right? Or, you know, unless you're like one of those people who never makes mistakes, in which case I'm envious. Anyway, just fixing up some of these rail signals. Yeah, I do believe that needs to be a chain signal there. And gonna go ahead and put in some in the middle there as well, so that these two sections are not or these two junctions rather, are not interfering with each other. That should do it. A rail signal at the end of every intersection and chain signals leading in. Just double checking to make sure that station is unloading properly. I'm going to go ahead and set up a second one here, just to see how much quicker it happens with all 10 of the construction robots. It's a little bit faster. Once this research gets finished, it'll be faster still. But that's a decent amount there. And it's not like I'm going to actually be using this station right away anyway. I'm going to have to go find another iron ore deposit somewhere before that'll become a necessity. But in the meantime, it does look like all but one of the mining drills down here are they have stopped. There's just that one remaining. And I'm going to go ahead and reconfigure this to be just a little bit faster in how quickly it gets rid of this remaining bit of ore, so that I can finally get rid of this line entirely. I figured 2 mining drills is the most efficient way that I can do this. Go ahead and reconfigure the power line up there, get them working. Yeah, originally I was thinking of putting a splitter there, but it's like, it's not putting out enough to warrant that. I'll just do side loading there. That ought to make short work of that. Now, in the meantime, I'm going to go up here and check out this furnace column. It's obviously not going to need all 10 of those furnaces, so I'm going to get rid of all but 2 of them. Get everything reconnected up here. Alright, just in time for that ore to show up. I accidentally picked up some of it, so I put it back into the furnace. Now I'm going to upgrade all of these belts, just so that they are a bit more future-proof. And then, connect all of these lines going back into the main factory. And run out of red belts, so go ahead and pick up a few more of those. And I'm all out of them, actually, because it's just not getting enough resources to continuously build them. The way those assemblers are set up is that they are not the most efficient. In order for them to be the most efficient, though, I would need about 30 or so gear assemblers, and that would pretty much kill my iron plate supply. So I figure a less than ideal arrangement is better than nothing. In the meantime, over here in my iron mine, a few more of the drills ran out over there, because I noticed that obviously the iron plates were not quite as plentiful as they have been in the past. And in the meantime, I'm also signaling up all of this area, because eventually this main line is going to extend out a little bit farther, or at least it might, so I might as well be prepared for it now. I'm not quite sure how to get rid of this roundabout, though, or if I even need to, because of the fact that it has the junction heading south to the new copper mine and the outlet for the iron mine to the north. I'm going to have to play around with a few designs with that before I come up with an exact conclusion. Alright. Right now, just picking up a few more items here back in the main base. I realize I have a ton of the yellow transport belts in my inventory now because of all the upgrading I've been doing. I'm trying to get rid of some of that by offloading them into the assemblers that require them. And this could probably help with a little bit of that. And then there's a biter attack down here near my solar field. Something down here was actually destroyed. So I'm going to go and see what is up down here. And it looks like they just destroyed one of my turrets. And there's a big pile of corpses down there, so I'm going to reinforce that corner just a little bit. But then I realized this base is just a little too close for comfort. I'm going to go ahead and eliminate these people. I'm not going to bother with the tank this time, because that really seemed like it was causing more damage to my equipment than what was worth it. But right there you can see that a large biter just came in. So again, one more milestone in biter evolution. It's probably because my pollution is just rampant and out of control. So there, the evolution factor has skyrocketed. But that's all right, because I am pretty secure in how we'll be able to handle them in the future. It's clearing up the last couple of spawners there. But of course, if a large wave of those level 3 biters were to come at my base, then it might not be sufficient to repel them. That may have actually been what happened to my turret up there. There's another biter nest down here, so I'm going to go ahead and take care of it as well. This one's a little bit more concentrated in a forest, so it's a little trickier maneuvering around all these trees, but the combat shotgun and flamethrower make short work of them. And there is a large spitter as well. I'll pick up some stone that was on the ground over there. And that does it for those two. And right now it's just sort of becoming a case of repelling them when I can. Eventually I'm going to have to go out and do a complete clearing of the area around my factory, and then setting up a large defensive wall somewhere. And the fact that I've not run into any bodies of water out there is a bit concerning. I'm beginning to wonder if I set those parameters back when I created the map to have no water outside of the starting area. Not quite sure why I would have done that. Maybe it was just so that I would have enough room for the mega factory without having to worry about getting around giant water hazards. But I am beginning to notice that it's kind of shot myself in the foot, because another thing that the bodies of water provide on a map are natural choke points for the enemies to come in, and you can always just like back up against a body of water, and then that way the biter attacks only come from certain directions. But since there are no bodies of water here, they're just coming from everywhere. So it is becoming a bit more of a problem in defending against them. So, setting up another connection there. I realize I'm thinking that chain signal I had put down was not necessary, so I'm not going to go ahead and do that. And in the meantime, this copper mine is finally dried up. It's a bit of a changing of the guard there, because that was the original copper ore deposit that I started with. I mean, I have since moved on, but it's still a bit of a bittersweet moment. So I'm just going to go ahead and finally clear out that column of furnaces. Make sure that my radar installation there is still operating. And there was one tile here that was still on the yellow belt, so I went ahead and upgraded that. I'm just kind of looking around, seeing what parts of my factory need the most updating. It's looking like red circuits are falling short, and before I go ahead and set up a dedicated circuit production facility, this is going to be a problem in the meantime, so I'm going to go ahead and double up the production. And since I can't mirror it around the top, because that's where I put my blue circuit production, I'm just going to go ahead and extend it out to the west. I give myself a little bit of space between this new area and the existing one, so that I can do a little lane balancer right there. And I don't have enough assembly machines in my inventory, so I've got to pick up some more resources and craft those. And since I'm extending the production area, I'm also going to have to put up another copper cable assembler. I'll just go ahead and have that feed directly onto the existing line, again with a lane balancer, so that it's not crowding up on just one side of the belt. And let my construction robots finish all of that up. Need some more long arm inserters. There those all go. And then it's just a matter of powering it all up, and there it goes. Looks like there's plenty of plastic and green circuits on that line, and here come the copper cables. Go ahead and so it looks like that's going to be working all right. I'm going to put down some more turrets to protect this area, and that is all the time we have for today's episode. I hope you enjoy watching. My name is Azrael, and never stop building, and never stop researching.